Hello everyone and welcome to this video presentation. In this video presentation, we will see how we do some post-installation tasks. So previously we have installed different servers. Today we're going to work on SRV-B. So let's start this server and then we need to do a few things on that server. So because the basic installation that we did was just installing the operating system. And we had to set up a password when we installed the operating system because by default it will ask us for a password, and we had to put a password which we used password 01. So now that the server is installed, we need to configure the server. So let's log in to the server. So I'll put password 01. So server manager will open automatically. So the first thing I want to do, because we are working in VirtualBox environment, we need to install some drivers for VirtualBox to work properly. Okay, so you will notice that if I try to maximize this screen here, it does not maximize. It's not taking the full size of my screen because we need to install some drivers for lots of things. If you want to share files between the host computer and the virtual machine, we need also to install that. So this is called the guest additions CD. It's not exactly like the other CDs that when you go to optical drives here and you have to insert a drive here by choosing a disk. This one has a built-in link here. So as soon as I click on insert guest addition CD image, it will insert this image onto the optical drive of this computer. So you will see right now, this is the Windows Server 2012 installation media that was there that I did not remove yet. So I can remove this one different ways. I can right click on it, click on eject, or I can go to devices, optical drives. I can uncheck it from here, or I can remove it from here, remove disk from virtual drive. And the last thing is if I insert another disk, automatically it will eject this disk and replace it. So if I insert this one, you will see that right away this disk will change and it will be the guest addition that will be installed here. So if I refresh my screen, so now I see that this is the VirtualBox CD that was installed. So I need to run the software here to take full advantage of the VirtualBox software. So if I double click here, I will use the VBox Windows Edition AMD 64 because we are running on a 64-bit operating system. I will double click on it. I will click on next, next, install. I will take all the defaults. I will not change anything here. Then I will click on install on this message again. So once it finishes installing, it will tell me that it needs to reboot for these changes to take effect. So I will click on finish, so it will restart the computer. So once this is done, I will have all the full functionality of VirtualBox that I want. I will be able to maximize my screen, change the size of the screen, drag and drop files from my computer to the virtual machine and vice versa. So I will log in with the password 01. So you see it's still not full screen, but it's still, because it's still loading. Once it's finished loading, if I just reduce the size and maximize it again, you will see now that I have a full screen. So it's much better this way. So now that I have this done, I need to do some tasks on this computer. First of all, I need to change the computer name, because even the computer name that we see here, which is SRV-B, this is just a name that appears in VirtualBox here. But this is not the real computer name inside the operating system. So inside the operating system, if I want to check the computer name, if I go to local server, I will see that the computer name is here. It's a randomly created name during the installation. I did not choose this name. So I need to change that to SRV-B. So this is the first thing I need to do. So I click on that hyperlink here. this is just here, it's just the description. I don't change the name by putting anything on this box here. To change the name, I need to click on the change button here. Then I can change the name here. So I will put srv-b and I will click OK. Of course, when we change computer name, we have to restart the computer for these changes to take effect. So this is what it's telling me here. I'll click OK, close, and I need to restart the computer for those changes to take effect. Always when we change computer name or we change the domain, we need to restart the computer. So now the computer name is set properly. So I will log back in, password 01. I need to set the real administrator password because the password 01, this was the password that we used just to install the operating system. Now let's say we are given a different password that we need to use. So let's say it's password 02, which is the password, let's say, that we want the administrator to have. So to do that, we have to click on tools here, computer management. So it will open the computer management console, which we are used to even in the Windows 10 or Windows 7, is the same one. And we can go here, we expand the local users and groups. We click on users, and this is our administrator that we want to change his password. This is the only account that we have right now on the server. I will right click on it, click on set password, confirm that that's what I want to do, and put my new password, which is password 02 with capital P. So I'll put password 02, I will retype it, and I'll click OK. So now the password was set successfully. So I can close this console here. So this is the second task that I needed to do. The third task that I need to do here is to change the time zone, because by default, when it installs, usually it installs in Pacific time, US and Canada. So again, if I go to local server here, on the properties page here, I will see that under the time zone, it's Pacific time, US and Canada. So here we are in Eastern time, US and Canada. So again, I will click on this hyperlink and I will be able to change the time zone from this here. So I will choose from the drop down list. I will look for Eastern time, US and Canada. I'll click OK and it's done. The third thing that I need to do is to set the date and time. So if the date and time are not set properly, I will click on here and I will change the date, I will change the time, and I will click OK and click OK. So now we have the date and time set properly, we have the time zone set properly. Last thing that we need to do in this post-installation tasks is to change the network IP address of this server. If you remember in the beginning, before we install the server, we changed the network setting here to host only adapter. So we need to double check that. If you go here, we need to make sure that we are on host only adapter. Okay, and if we have more than one here, let's select for now the first one. In my case, I have only one. So this is the first thing to make sure that we have that. Once we have that, we need to change the IP address of this server. So if I click on this one here, and I double click on my Ethernet adapter, I will click on properties. I will go to Internet Protocol version 4 TCP IPv4, double click on it. And by default, it's set to obtain an IP address automatically, which is the case of any device. By default, it's set to get an IP address automatically. In our lab here, we need to set a static IP address. So we will use the second option, which is use the following IP address. So in our lab, the IP address that we need to set up here is 10.0.0.1. We need to put the subnet mask as well. The subnet mask that we need to use for that lab is 255.255.255.0. The default gateway, we will leave it blank. The preferred DNS server, we will put 10.0.0.1. All this I will explain in a later lessons. And we click on OK, OK, close, and we close that. So after a few minutes, or if I refresh my screen here, I should see the IP address changed here. So this is the IP address that I just changed. So Right now, we finished the post-installation tasks that we needed to do, and the server is ready to go. So that concludes this activity.